President of the Council for the Regulation of Engineering in Nigeria, it's my pleasure to invite the chairman of the forum back to the stage, talking about the President of the Council for the Regulation of Engineering in Nigeria, Engineer Ali Masuya Rabiu, Fellow of the Nigerian Society of Engineers and Fellow of the American Society of Civil Engineers. Can we put our hands together for Mr. President?
Thank you very much. The presidents, please, can you come up? I'd like to welcome everyone to the concluding segment of the Family Forum. Thereafter, we'll go to the closing ceremony and take the communique. Then we'll go and rest and get ready for the dinner for 7 p.m. But before we continue, I have a retinue of questions. We may not be able to take them all, like I said, but we'll take those that we can, and those that we cannot take, we'll address them and send them across to our participants. Before we continue, I would like to make our presentation to the Nigerian Society of Engineers right now. So I will invite all past presidents of Coren to come up. We have Engineer E.B. Oshoba here, Engineer Gulma first in order of seniority, then Engineer E.B. Oshoba, Engineer Kashim Ali. I think these are the ones that are here. Engineer M.A. Gulma, please. Oh, he's still on break. Engineer E.B. Oshoba, come over, sir. Engineer Kashim Ali, sir. Can I also have the past registrars? Engineer Atume, Felix Atume is here. Engineer Camila Wapa Maliki is here. Can you come over, please? NSC President, you are the beneficiary. Very distinguished colleagues, I had mentioned earlier that we have some presentation to make to the Nigerian Society of Engineers. And I have invited the past leadership of Coren to support me in making the presentation. NSE is the biggest brother in the family, and though big as it is, it still needs to be supported. And when someone is packing into a new house, no matter how much he has spent, the millions of dollars he has spent in building the house, it is always good to assist him with a token, even if it's to buy cutlery for the person. And so today we have this set of scanners. I think it's the biggest scanner in the market. They gave the specifications themselves. then we also have the printer. You can see the packaging. There are only one each, but you can see how many there are. We couldn't afford to buy 3 that you requested, but I can assure you that the remaining 2 will make arrangement when we see if we have made any savings from the assembly. If we have not made, well, we'll look of how to get you the remaining 2. So, past President Oshoba, past President Ali, past Registrar Atume, and past Registrar Camila, please kindly make the presentations to the President of NSC.
Mr. President, please allow me to call. I cannot carry this with these people around, even though I have 2 people who will share the same site. I need Engineer Olorunfemi and past President Mokolu to join me in collecting this thing because it's too heavy. Yes.
For photograph. So bring them for photograph.
It's not here.
First, symbolic. Go to that side. The one that can bring. Okay, we can't stand here because of the. Let them see. Also hear that. Let them see. Bring the big one.
Thank you, Mr. President.
So you can leave that one. Well, they can put it on top so that mic. Where is that?
The mic.
Where's the mic?
Well, fellow engineers, this is a very symbolic moment that Council for the Regulation of Engineering is making this presentation to the Nigerian Society of Engineers. And on behalf of the Council of Coren and the past presidents, it is my pleasure to present these very important gadgets for running an efficient office in the new block just completed by Nigerian Society of Engineers. The president of NSC accept my congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
And wish you well, and Coren will continue to grow and extend all these things. Yes.
The 2 of you are sharing both on the border. Yes, you have 2 cups.
Okay. Can we applaud this? Thank you very much. And the past presidents, thank you very much. All the best. Registrar. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much.
On behalf of the Nigerian Society of Engineers, on behalf of the President first and Council of the Nigerian Society of Engineers, fellows and members, we thank the President and the Council of Coren for making this donation to us. As the President said, we've spent so much in getting the building, and it is a token to us which is highly appreciated. And each item is going to be tagged donated by Coren, so that anybody who comes in will know that it has been donated to us. So thank you very much, and God bless you.
I don't know when Lauren Femi has become Oliver Twist. He's thanking me for the first installment. Well, okay, let me see that. So, thank you. So very quickly, the next set of questions. The artisans and craftsmen working in expatriate companies are not properly handled. How does Coren help them? Can Coren pay more attention to them? Engineer Zachary Aitogo. Zachary Aitogo is here. Engineer Zachary Aitogo. Okay. When he comes back. On these assembly materials, why? Well, I've skipped it. I don't understand. Materials, why is the yearly planning continue to perform very poor in their preparations? Please give reasons, especially those that register very early, MOC. How can NSC bring young technicians and technologists on board without much registration fees? Because it is one of the major challenges for fresh graduates who are willing to join the society. And two, he says NSC should focus less on financial activities and concentrate more on human capacity development activities. He says this is an advice. Well, NSC President, what is the scope of work on codes and standards? Is the Codes and Standards Committee working on different codes such as design codes, construction codes, safety codes? GC Okoroma, Chairman, Codes and Standards. How does NSC and Coren protect their members? Well, Coren doesn't have members, so NSC has members who are victimized in their places of work, especially those with private companies. What is the channel of complaint? NSC President. Why is the organization of the Coren Assembly not, why are the organizers of the Coren Assembly not package the assembly materials of the online registered participants in their various bags and properly reserve them than issuing them out to on-site registered participants? The online registered participants have no materials for which they have paid for earlier than now, MOC. The arrangement on collection of materials was faulty. People who registered couldn't get material. MOC, the same thing. Why is it difficult for Coren to enforce proper placement for young registered engineers in the public service, like other professional bodies, MBA, ICANN, NMA? Camilla Whopper, former registrar. Why is Coren and ICANN executives not put interest aside and embrace purpose for the development of engineers? ICANN. How would you, Coren, help to ensure full employment for registered engineers who undergone casualization for many years at his workplace? Well, even Coren is casualizing. Mokolo. To my dismay, it looks like our curriculum in schools, mostly in our tertiary institutions, are there for almost 15 years. What is Coren doing about this to enhance the curriculum? But this is not true. We developed the B Masters. Anyway, is Eli Yakub here? Eli Yakub, Registrar of Coren. You take this. Registrar. Please, what will be the procedure for collection of the assembly conference bags for those that are not given the bags, MOC? The implementation of the CPD is indeed a good initiative for attaining professionalism. However, my concern is what is the fate of young engineers after the first year waiver has expired and there's no evidence of development from recognized institutions? CPD, Okoroma. Mr. President, we thank you for the consideration and the gifts of official vehicles to NSE, NATE, NAEC, etc. Please, give same consideration to AKEN. Thanks and God bless. From Engineer Kalejaye. Anyway, straight away, AKEN is an association of rich men, companies, and I'm one of them. My company is a member of AKEN, RR Partnership. So all these companies can assist AKEN get some of these things. So AKEN, get your member firms. AKEN President. Tell Kalejaye. Kalejaye is the MD, right? Kalejaye, I hope you are here. I've answered your question. I advise that all titles of the professional members be prefixed. For example, Engineer AB, Technologist AB, Technician AB, Craftsman AB. That will bring more sense of belonging. From Engineer Abdullahi. Well, this has to do, it's a matter of the act. For us to change this, we have to go to amend our act again, and it's a hell lot of trouble amending the act. We have given, for the technologies, it has been changed. It's now technology, TGST, right? Before, prefix. Only the other two cadres have it after their names. So, that is it. Now, to those who have received questions, may we ask that you respond. Who starts? Saleh. Engineer Mokolu is here. Let me start with him.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Now, in addressing this question of casualization of registered engineers, the first thing I would say is that it's very embarrassing and it should not be heard of, particularly when it has to do with the MDAs, that's the ministries, departments, and agencies. In the case of the questionnaire, this person is working, this registered engineer is working with NMPC. So I'm going to engage the president of NSC to tackle this immediately without jeopardizing the chances of employment, permanent employment of this person. So we will do it, the NSC will take up this matter as a general policy matter rather than singling out this gentleman or lady, Engineer Taiwo. The other thing is that there will be need for us to make a regulation. We will look at our regulations in Coren and be able to determine whether we have addressed the issue of casualization of registered engineers. If it's not, then we'll put it as a regulation that it is forbidden for anybody to casualize registered engineers. And I want to thank this writer, Engineer Taiwo, for bringing this forward. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Huh? El Yakub. Okay, Chair. Okay, Registrar of Coren.
Yeah, the question is the issue of curriculum. Why is it in some places we have 15 years old curriculum? Nothing is current about the curriculum. I don't think that is true, except that in some universities there are old schools who refuse to hook on or change to the new curriculum. Coren already have an approved BMAS for all universities. I'm aware that the Compodet is working seriously on their BMAS, minimum BMAS. And of course, we won't be talking of outcome-based learning if we didn't have a working curriculum. What we do, or what we should be doing, is to encourage our deans to change and the heads of departments to assist in changing over to the new curriculum. We have a new curriculum. We have a new accreditation manual. We have the outcome-based learning fully developed, and it's in that manual. All we have to do is to insist that these things are done the way it should be. We need to be disciplined enough. We need to be focused enough to change and to do the right thing. Thank you.
Thank you. Camilla.
Mr. President, I want to thank you for this opportunity, and good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My question has to do with why is it difficult for Coren to enforce proper placement for young registered engineers in the public service like other professional bodies? I think the problem had been that we have been using registrar's letter to this establishment. The amendment has enabled Coren to do regulation. Maybe Coren can properly inaugurate a regulation properly for this, and it becomes a very strong instrument of law. So once that one goes out as a regulation, it will be easy to enforce. And a registrant who is very confident of himself can even go to court if it is not implemented. I think we should try this effort. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much. NSC.
I have 2 or 3 questions. How do NSE and Coren protect their members who are victimized at their place of work, especially those with private companies? What is or are the channel of complaint? Well, let me start with the last part, the channel of complaint. The structure of NSE is that we have divisions and branches. Those divisions and branches are members of the council of the Nigerian Society of Engineers. So if there is anything in the grassroots coming from our members, we expect the branch or the division to handle it. If it is beyond the branch or division, it is reported to the executive committee, headed by the president. So we expect each and every member to belong to a branch. or a division, minimum. You can belong to 2 divisions. So if you are very active in your branch and you know who is the chairman of the branch, who are the executives of the branch, if you have issue in your place of work, you should relate that to the branch. If it is beyond them, they relate it to us. And I assure you, we will handle it in the best way we see right. We are not leaving our members just to be on their own. We have had situations whereby our members were victimized and we intervene. And mostly, I must regret, mostly those doing the victimization are also our members. So if there is any member of the Nigerian Society of Engineers that is victimized, let the person pass through this process. If you cannot, which we discourage, because if you are not active in your branch, the branch will die. So come through the branch and see and make your complaint, official complaint. How can NSC bring young technicians and technologists on board without much registration fees, because it is one of the major challenges for fresh graduates who are willing to join the society? And NSC should focus less on financial activities and concentrate more on human capacity development. Well, bringing young technicians and technologists, these are not categories of members of NSC. The categories of members of NSC are the graduates. So I don't think it is a responsibility of the Nigerian Society of Engineers to do that. It is their associations that will do that. However, for graduates, I don't think it is much what we are charging members for them to become members, even though we have cause to review that downwards. So we are not putting so much burden on you. And in your second question, you said we should play down financial activities. The Nigerian Society of Engineers is a professional body. And we have people working for us. We have bills to pay. And as I'm telling you, I'm a member of the Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineers of New York. I pay a minimum of $100 every year. And you can see 50,000. Our members pay 9,500. And not up to 25% of us pay these dues. So it is very challenging to us to run the society. So if really we want to make sure that the society performs well, in the present system, you must be able to settle your bills and be a responsible corporate body for you to survive. So we are not asking for much, but we will heed your advice. The divisions have been charged, as I said, to come up with professional development activities. We need to develop our members, especially in soft skills. Let our members get skills, and we assure you that in the next 1 year, you will see a lot of changes with the way the divisions are operating. And I hope next year by this time, we'll all be saying, yes, you have promised and we have delivered. Thank you.
Thank you very much. ACAN President.
I have 3 questions here. The first question here is asking why Coren and Aken executive not put their interests aside and embrace purpose for development of engineers. And I can tell you that Aken and Coren indeed have put their interests aside, and that is why we are talking about indexing of students all the way from the university, and that is where we are talking about outcome-based education to improve just knowledge, and we are also talking about continuing professional development. Those are interest areas that we are trying to ensure that you develop yourself in the right skills to be able to be functional as a practitioner in your chosen field. Coren has no regulation to reduce exploitation of engineers by Aken in that there is no basic minimum salaries for engineers. Coren has been doing a lot as far as the issue of salaries for engineers are concerned, especially in the civil service. Of course, you recall that in the last 2 years, there have been some policy statement by government to improve the level of entries of engineers and the civil service. That is actually been taken. And how is the companies? In the first place, Aken is not about individuals, we are about firms. And at the firm level of Aken, the good thing about it is that depending on the size of your firm, that determines the fees that you pay as a member of Aken. So if your firm is between 1 and 4, you have a particular fee you pay. If it's between 10 and 20, and those above 20. So it's graded according to your choice. Of course, you tell us what is the magnitude of your activities as a firm. And that is how the fees are being graded. So there is no exploitation. I think the president of NSC has said it here, how much he pays as a registered engineer in New York. Whereas here, what we're paying is just peanuts. And the whole essence is just to ensure that we encourage engineers to practice in this country. And the question on the scope of work on codes and standards is the Code of Standards Committee working on different codes such as design codes, construction codes, safety codes, and all that. Yes, the committee inaugurated just about a month ago, thereabouts. We have set out to reach out to all stakeholders in the engineering family, both in the corporate world in Nigeria and the universities and the NSC particularly, and the divisions. We know that codes will actually be much more driven by the divisions. And I know work is ongoing in that direction. The Deputy President has assured us, who is a member of that committee, that he will bring his experience to bear in that committee, ensuring that all the divisions will participate and they bring. But then let us know that codes and standards are very tasking work to do, and it requires carefulness. So we're not going to be taking all the codes at the same time. As we speak today, we have the course. We're trying to work on on quality of cement, the use of cement in Nigeria. Work has been done in that direction. We're trying to fine-tune it. Next time we're going to meet, we're going to look at that very closely. But as soon as we start getting feedback from stakeholders in the profession, especially from the divisions, and of course from all the stakeholders, the universities, whoever has anything that has to do with codes. For instance, you talked about safety. Maybe that is another area that is quite easy to start with. And so the committee will be working on various codes and standards, but it's going to be a very taxing work, and it's not something we can say that in 1 year we're going to come out with maybe 3, 4, 5, standards for engineering practice in Nigeria.
Mr. President, your responses should be very brief.
Thank you very much. Implementation of 6PD needed is indeed a good initiation for attaining professionalism. However, my concern is what is the fate of a young engineer after the first year waiver and could not have evidence of development from registered institutions, but were able to continue self-development through other means like small-scale industry, works, lectures, and seminars. Indeed, the whole idea is actually trying to encourage you as young engineers that you don't just sit down somewhere and say, oh, I'm not employed. In fact, we are even saying that if we're talking about the engineer in the community, if you live in a particular community and there are engineering problems in your community, why don't you take time and provide solutions to such problems? Put up a write-up on it, send to us, and we know that you, even in your own local environment, you are adding value to engineering. So it's about waking up every day and make sure that you contribute to the profession. Much is given to us by the training we have had from the university, and much is expected from us in our various communities where we are, or in our industry. There'll be improvement, there'll be continuous professional development. Thank you.
Thank you. Please, make your responses very short. We don't have much time. MOC, please. Very quickly.
Good afternoon. Before I start responding to these questions, I want to, on behalf of myself, the members of the MOC, the current council members, apologized to each and every participant in this hall. All these questions centered around the conference materials and the planning. So I think instead of reading the questions one after the other, I will respond, and I think the response goes to every other person that wrote. On the issue of planning, to be honest, we never expected this crowd because of COVID. We planned for 4,000 participants, and that is why we provided this Zoom link. But as I'm talking to you now, we have 7,012 participants who have registered. When we realized that we are about exhausting the 4,000 participants registered, we quickly contacted the service providers to increase to the number at hand then, which was 5,200. On the first day, people come to register. On site, we got 700. Yesterday, we got another 906, bringing the total to 7,000 plus. When we contacted the producers, me and you know that there is no way we can produce a quality bag within 2 days. And that is why we have shortage in the materials. However, arrangement has been made. that these materials will be delivered to Coren in the next 2 weeks. And the main organizing committee has also resolved that we will deliver these materials to your various states, because Coren have state offices. As soon as it's arrived there, they will send you a text message to go and pick it up. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, MOC. MOC for life. A professional body called, we will continue with the questions, but this is the last set. There are just very few, and we will take two minutes to respond because we have to be closing. The director of programs, you know, I have a boss here also. In this hall, the director of programs is the boss. So he has advised that we close 5 minutes after 2. So very quickly, a professional body called the Chartered Institute of Project Managers of Nigeria has been created by an act of the National Assembly